It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your feel-good breakfast show. It's a Monday morning. We're approaching the end of the year right now, and many of us will be finally jetting off to that dream holiday destination with our family, or you may be taking a long road trip to connect with loved ones so far away from you. But sometimes, however, making sure that you get all there safely and that you come back in one piece can be just as stressful and leave you feeling like you need a holiday from your holiday.
So today we are asking Dr. Eve, our expert, the question: are you going away with your loved ones this holiday? And of course, how do you survive the chaos and the stress of the holiday period? And how do you make sure that you keep it stress-free for your vacation? Our relationship expert, Dr. Eve, is in the building, and she's going to help us discuss this hot topic. Our lines, as usual, are open, so you can feel free to call us on 021-430-9881 with your questions and your comments, or even just to engage. And of course, you can remain anonymous if you so choose. Dr. Eve in the house.
You can ask questions about your mother-in-law anonymously if you want to as well.
Exactly, because all of us, we pounce on her when she walks into the building. We're like, okay, so this is happening right now. It's really cool.
So looking at this stressful holiday kind of syndrome, if you will, that happens, what are the factors that contribute to a holiday being so stressful that you eventually want to have a holiday from your holiday?
Right, so let's start with what you're feeling like right now, all of us. What are we feeling like right now?
Well, it's been a long year, it's been a tough year, it's just been expectations. It's just, I just need a break. Ugh.
Exactly, so that is how people start off this so-called happy festive season time. You're exhausted, you're super stressed, and you are really concerned about things like money, Christmas shopping. You've also coming out of a place where you're trying to work long hours to finish off your 2018 year. So what do you do when you're feeling stressed and exhausted and you know you're walking into a situation where there is going to be dynamics in families that have been problematic for the last 20, 30, 40 years, and you're going to be walking into them? You do what's on the table, which is food and alcohol. And what happens when you do too much food and alcohol, because you really just need to get rid of these difficult feelings, is that there is just way more conflictual dynamics that happen. So people begin their Christmas holiday season already stressed, tired, overworked, and argumentative. So we're going to give some tips on how to manage yourself during this time, which we acknowledge can be a very difficult time. And we're going to talk about some of the dynamics that happen in families and what do families really look like today? What are you really walking into when you walk into this Christmas season or holiday season with your family, when you're stuck in a place, in a car, in a plane, on an island, or just in your backyard? How do you really manage all these things that we have to acknowledge are difficult? And I think that's the first point. You want to acknowledge that this is not happy, merry time for everybody.
This is true. And that's what we're going to be acknowledging. And of course, Dr. Eva is going to be sharing those tips with us as we discuss all things about families coming together and the stress that usually can implode or explode as soon as families get together. 021-430-9881 is the number to call. This is a safe space. Dr. Eve is here to answer all of your questions.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It's your Feel Good Breakfast show on a Monday morning. Expresso right here on SABC3. Relationship talk time with Dr. Eve, and we're discussing holiday stress, especially if you're planning on going away with the family. You've planned a holiday, long trips in the car. Maybe you're flying with the baby. In fact, Dr. Eve put up a poll on social media asking, what causes you the most holiday stress? Is it family gatherings? Is it your relationship? Is it money? And an overwhelming majority of people say that it's money, 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 money.
Yeah, incredible. What does it say about the season? I think it talks to, once again, expectations. There we go. And I think also what has added to the stress of money, perhaps, is social media. That we want to put up photos that look this, extravagant or this amazing Christmas holiday time, and also us in very extravagant and luxurious or interesting places.
And giving those beautiful gifts that are worth a post on an Instagram.
Exactly.
People suffer from that pressure, and it's real.
Yeah, absolutely is real. So I read about a piece of research. I could only find one piece of research to find out the impact of Christmas on people's lives. And they said that Christmas is more stressful than divorce or moving house.
Wow.
Are you serious?
Well, if our viewers feel the same, phone us and tell us about that, how stressful is it? And do you also agree with the fact that money is causing you a huge amount of stress at this time of the year? because of the expectations. And I do want to talk about expectations that we have on each other.
Yes.
Expectations to perform, but not in a sexual way. Well, perhaps for some.
That accelerated quickly.
Well, listen, that's who I am. So it's expectations to be able to provide the certain kind of standard or gifts, and people are under pressure. You know, we're living in a very tough financial situation, country, and so here we have to now perform financially and give all the goodies that we used to.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bring in a concept that I've created called Christmas anarchy. So,
Christmas anarchy. What does that entail?
So when we talk about relationship anarchy means breaking all the rules of relationship and creating your own kind of relationship that really suits you well. And I'm really wanting people to do the same for Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
So
we
don't
break the
necessarily
rules.
follow what everyone else is doing.
100%.
Maybe decide on your own rules.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And don't follow what you used to do. You know, we like tradition, and tradition makes us feel safe and familiar.
Yeah.
But also this may not be working for you. So if we think about how people go into the situation of expecting to have, I repeat, the holiday feeling and the happiness and the dynamics are going to be great, let's remember that the history of childhood stories that have happened over holiday season and Christmas time, which may not always be fabulous. There may be somebody who gets excessively drunk at the table, and you know this is always going to happen. Or where there's going to be conflict between certain members, and you know it's going to happen. Prepare yourself for those trigger events and learn, how do I manage this? Because I'm not going to go in with the idea that this is going to be happy, happy, merry, merry,
Yeah.
but actually we know that these triggers exist,
Yeah.
that these family dynamics exist, and rather manage them
Yeah.
by taking time out, by limiting your time in that family dynamic situation, and going out, taking
Yeah.
a walk, because you're grown up now. Children don't have a choice. They're trapped in a car or they're trapped in a house with people where you can't get out of.
Yeah.
But for us as adults, we really can turn things around and make it work for us, so we actually have a happy season, because everybody deserves to have a little bit of rest and peacefulness right now.
Exactly. I feel like you've got to go in prepared. If you're not prepared,
Yeah.
you're going to fail. Dr.
Exactly.
Eve is in the house. We are chatting about the dynamics when it comes to family vacations, family coming together over the festive period. As wonderful as it is, it can be super stressful at the same time. I'm looking for practical
Yeah.
advice, Dr. Eve, because we're about to embark on that with our family as well. So the people want to know. 021-4309-881 is the number to dial.
It's my feel good breakfast show.
Welcome back. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's a Monday morning, hanging out with Dr. Eve, of course, our relationship expert. With our lines open in 021-4309-881, we're talking all about the stress of the holiday season. The family's coming over. You're going to visit the family. You got to plan the itinerary. There's just so much. And then afterwards, you're like, I need a holiday after my holiday. How to
I need a
avoid
holiday
that?
from my holiday.
Yeah. How to avoid that?
Yeah, and we were talking a bit earlier on about those practical tips, because there's so much to take into consideration when it comes to having so many more people in your space.
Yeah.
There's a different dynamic. Everybody has their own needs, their own expectations.
Yeah.
We were talking about the financial aspect that
Yes.
comes into play as well. Are you driving? Is it a long car trip? Are you all going in convoy together? What are the first things that one has to put in place, measures? Should you talk about it even before the time?
Yeah.
Like, y'all, okay, we're a lot of people. Let's all just be mindful of that. What is the process? How
Yeah.
do you make sure that it's a
you want-
lovely time for everybody?
I think you've got to diminish expectations, because it may not be a
First.
lovely time for everybody,
Yeah.
Leanne. And people go in with the high expectations. When you have high expectations, which I like for people to have, but then there's always going to be the disappointment that comes along with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So it is doing really specific planning of who's going to be responsible for what. And then really re-examining, and I'm going to come back to this Christmas anarchy, re-examining, do these same ways of being or doing Christmas or holidays, do they really work? And I think that that's where the conversation should be more honest. Is the way that we used to do holidays useful? Because also, things change in a year, and this is
Yeah.
also what adds a lot to the difficulty of families, of individual people, of realizing by the time the year end has come, there's a reflection of what has the year been like. Have there been additions to our family? Have there been people who have actually left our family? Have there been crises? Have there been disappointments? Have there been joys? And you bring all of that into the new dynamic. And those things need to be adapted, and you need to be flexible around
Yeah.
them. You can't still have the same traditional view of this is how our family used to be.
Yeah.
It isn't, it's all changed. It also raises an important thing of recognizing what hasn't changed for me in the year. And that might feel quite depressing for some people, that you reflect and say, well, nothing's really changed, or things that I aspired to, I hoped for, expected, didn't manifest. And you bring all of that energy into your holiday and into your Christmas season time, which can be very depressing for people. So practical tips around that is self-acknowledgement first, just doing a self-reflection of what is this year, has it been for me, what am I going to be bringing into this holiday time? How much processing do I need to do alone, and how much processing do I need to do with individual people that maybe I have had difficulty with during the year. And before we get into this gathering together, let's do our work beforehand so that it doesn't add extra stress into the actual family when you're together. And then still expect there to be stress in the family. You know, you can hear I keep coming back to acceptance, acknowledgement that this is a difficult time. And it may not be as joyous as you would like it to be. And actually, we're the same people. We bring in the same stuff in. And unless we've processed stuff during the year, we're going to be in the same difficult, horrible situation. Or the same joyous. I mean, I'd love you to phone in and tell us about the happy, fabulous time. Maybe I'm being too cynical and too negative about it. Maybe you've got happy Christmas holiday times and you can give us tips on how to let other people have happier time. I think that we're killed by expectation and by hoping that things are going to be wonderfully lit up and bright and fabulous, and I hope that they will be for you. But you've got to make that happen.
Worst,
you've got to make
it
it
really
happen.
Is.
Right. Well, we'll keep our lines open while we wait for your calls on 0214309881. And of course, remember, you can also call in anonymously and share your thoughts with us on this topic. We'll be back with one more discussion with Dr. Eve.